Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. This is Altaf, and you are you've joined the UAE Corporate Tax Marathon Saturdays course with me. So, this is the book from which we will be studying, inshallah. This is the 2026 manual. It contains all the federal decree law and the cabinet decisions, ministerial decisions, all the decisions and explanatory guides, references, etc. It also has GCC and other international perspectives as well for the various things that we are going to go through. So the way this course is structured is it gradually builds your foundation in corporate tax without going into unnecessarily going into a lot of other things like in certain other courses. A lot of emphasis is on company law rather than corporate tax, or less detail is there for the corporate tax. But this course is purely for corporate tax. So we will start off with this thing. So I'll skip the foreword by the author. I'll quickly go to the nomenclature. So this book, inshallah, Mr. Mohiddin, you will get this book very soon, probably within this week. Monday, I think I will have the printed copies available. I'll provide you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the nomenclature, various things. CD means cabinet decisions. FDL means federal decree law. Okay. FTA, we know Federal Tax Authority. G20 means the group of 20 countries. These are the biggest economic powers of the world, basically. So why G20 is important? Because these countries gave rise to OECD, which is an organization of economic cooperation and development, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This organization uh, kind of indirectly regulates the taxation around the world. It helps governments regulate the taxation around the world. So a lot of 135 countries came together. Now it's become 140 countries. UAE, Saudi Arabia, these are part of that platform managed by OECD, which brings together the countries of the world for tax purposes. So different things have been mentioned here. We'll see gradually once we go on. So chapter one, we are starting off with chapter one. As we saw, the entire book has, I think, 18 chapters are there. So we'll see, inshallah. Hopefully, will look at the speed of it as well, and gradually we're going to cover everything. And most important, one of the most important advices I want to give you guys is that uh, whichever manual you are referring to, training manual or like the one that you're looking at, which I have published, uh, any tax practitioner has to always have that linkage, that very strong familiarity, very strong grip actually on the source document, which is the decree law and the decisions, etc., that have been issued by the government. So it is important that we always look at those as well. The other document that I have open in front of me right now, this is the source document. Federal Decree Law number 47 of 2022 on corporate and business tax. Okay. So this corporate and business tax, it contains the all the articles and everything. So if you look at it, the first article is definitions, and in the entire corporate tax decree law, total of 70 articles are there. So we have to be very strongly familiar with all of these articles and understand them pretty well. We are going to refer to them wherever the reference comes in. Inshallah, I will uh, take you to the source decree law as well, whenever the case. Now, so for example, so chapter one, basic concepts and scope, that's where we are starting off. Any questions until now, Mr. Vinay, Mr. Muhyiddin? You guys can ask if there's any question.
No, sir.
Okay,
Now
very
you
good.
can proceed further. So go ahead. Yeah. Right.
Okay, very good. So as I was saying, the first question that we should ask, what is corporate tax? So where would we get this answer? We will get this answer in the definitions article, Article 1. So we'll see that the summary that is written there in Article 1 the tax imposed by the Federal Decree Law number 47 of 2022 on juridical persons, which are legal persons, which are companies basically, and business income. One should ask if the corporate tax is generally meant by the word corporate usually refers to a body corporate, right? So that should be the meaning of corporate tax law. Why did they include the word business income in here? Mohammed Rafiuddin, and any idea why did they include this word business income
Um,
other than juridical person? When the company's mention was already there, why this word came, business income?
in other words, the company's profit.
What about you, Mr. Vinay? Why do you think they included the word business here in addition to juridical persons when the companies are already covered?
So because there are many companies like which are not conducting business. Like for example, the foundation and the other government companies. They are not.
No, but they're still companies, right? So they were covered here. So the definition should have stopped here. Let me show you guys the source definition in Article 1. This is the decree law, right? So in the decree law, we are trying to find out or discuss or address or understand corporate tax. This is the definition. You see this on my screen? This is the definition.
Yeah.
Yes.
The tax imposed by this decree law on juridical persons and business income. Wait, when they had already mentioned the word juridical persons, that would cover every company, right? All the company, legal persons, all legal persons will be covered. What is legal person? What are juridical persons? Can either of you tell me?
Yes, sir. Juridical persons are the person who are having the trade license in UAE because
Oh, is
there
is
are
this
many
is this what it is? No. What about you, Rafi?
That's my understanding as well. Juridical
Any person with trade license?
basically are running a business. Any person with a trade license who runs a business. Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
Okay, okay. Let me clarify your understanding for both of you. Uh, it's okay. Trade license is only it's a common feature. Yes, I agree. But what if there is? Have you heard about offshore companies? Like for example,
Yeah,
Jabza companies, offshore companies. Correct?
yeah.
Do they have a trade license? Vinay or Rafi, either of you? Do you know that the offshore companies in UAE are they issued a trade license? Any idea? Can
Sir,
I tell?
they are not conducting the business in UAE. Like offshore companies are those companies which are conducting business outside the jurisdiction of
Okay,
UAE.
outside, no, but your definition of a company, both of you emphasize to me that that entity is a company which has a trade license. So my
No,
answer
they
to
don't
you is
have a trade license. Offshore companies, they don't have
they
trade
don't
license. They
have a
have a
trade license.
certificate of a
Incumbent,
good standing.
a certificate of good standing or certificate of incumbency. It's this is not the real definition of a juridical person. Yeah. Actually, juridical person is any entity, any person which has a separate legal personality of its own. Understand this point. You understand, both of you? An entity which is different from its shareholder. Any entity which has a persona, legal persona of its own. That's a juridical person. That's it. Um,
So basically,
huh.
just to rephrase what I understood, any person who has a capacity to run a business.
And no, that's not what I said. I said any person which has a separate legal personality of its own. For example, this Jabza offshore company does not have the legal capacity to run a business. They are not allowed or authorized to run a business, especially in UAE, and they're
Anyway,
not given or issued a trade license. But they are still a juridical person. Do you know why? Because a legal person is their personality is so much accepted in law as a separate person that they can sue their shareholders, and a shareholder and their shareholder owner can sue those persons. Does that make sense? Why? How could that happen? Can you think of a situation where a company could sue its own owner or shareholder? Can you think of a situation? So these are some of the concepts, basic concepts of company law actually. I can tell you this. For example, do you know who actually runs the business of a company? For especially for listed companies, big companies.
The shareholders, the board of directors are there. Shareholders are not actively involved,
Guy,
but board of
that
directors,
yes. So it's not the shareholders who run the business, my dear. Shareholders only appoint those who are the
the board of
showrunners. That's it. The shareholders' role is to appoint the showrunners who are known or called as the directors, board of directors, right? So it's the board who runs the show, and it is quite possible, especially for giant companies, bigger companies, that there are small minority shareholders, micro shareholders holding a few shares in a multi-billion-dollar business, right? And their rights are not being met. So it is quite possible that the shareholder may sue that legal entity, and the legal entity who will defend the legal entity, the directors that are running the show. The directors are going to manage the entire suit on behalf of the company because they are the representatives of the company that they have agreed to run, right? So that's how it happens. So
Sir, I
anyways,
have one question.
yes,
In this, in case of sole establishment, the owner is same and the company and the establishment is same. Like there is no bifurcation between owner and the establishment. So in
yeah,
this case,
Rafi, have you heard about sole establishment?
Yeah, yeah.
So in sole establishment, from a legal perspective, Rafi, are you aware that a sole establishment, if any case is filed, somebody files a case on a sole establishment in the court of law, any court of law, right? In Dubai, or if sole establishments exist outside UAE also, usually there will be the same situation. If let's say some vendor had a conflict, they filed a case on the sole establishment. Okay, so will the court treat the owner of the sole establishment as a separate person and sole establishment itself as a separate person, or will the court of law treat both of them as one and the same? Like
Well,
natural person who has this sole establishment, they will court will treat that entity and the owner natural person as one and the same.
yes.
Which one is correct?
Uh, Sole establishment is basically like, the one who takes the full responsibility. So in that case, like, the individual itself will be responsible for everything.
Yeah, so they are not two entities. They will be seen as one natural person. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is. So that what does that mean? It means that out of the different entity types, sole establishment, and Vinay, I'm sure you understood this thing as well, right? So the sole establishment
yes, sir.
does not have a legal personality, separate personality of its own. Its personality is the same as that of the owner, the natural person. So that's the difference between the sole establishment and a limited liability company that is registered in UAE, or for that matter, any body corporate. This is a very interesting word, Rafi. We should remember this word, body corporate. So that's a very broad terminology. It would include any type of a legal structure which has a separate legal personality of its own, like the usual terminology company. So the unusual terminologies that are still body corporates, but we don't call them usually call them companies, but they still have a separate personality. Can you give one or two examples, Rafi?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't hear the last part. What?
See, there are different legal structures of business, right? Which are registered here in UAE, but we don't call them LLCs. We don't call them limited liability. They have different names, but they still have a separate legal personality. Okay, they are not LLCs or FZ LLCs or FZCO, but they are still separate legal personalities. Can you give me at least one example of any such structure? Vinay already knows the answer, so I'm not asking him.
The one is a sole establishment.
But sole establishment does not have its separate personality, my dear. The owner cannot sue the sole establishment because owner is the sole establishment.
Is himself, yeah, a sole establishment.
There's
So you
the
said the
body
limited
corporate.
liability doesn't come.
Yeah, LLC is a company. There are other structure. Okay, let me ask Vinay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Vinay,
Sir, in this case,
you took the name a little while ago. You took the name. Different structures in
sole
UAE are there.
the
Uh,
family foundation,
Yeah, the foundations.
the
Not
foundations,
necessarily family foundation, foundation.
the foundation
Foundation
is.
structure is allowed in DIFC, ADGM, RAC, ICC. These free zones I am aware of. Other free zones I'm not sure, but at least foundation structure is available in DIFC and RAC,
And ADG.
ICC and ADGM as well.
Only three, sir. As of now, like they have
Only three.
approved only three. Yes, as of now.
Three of the free zones have allowed this structure. So foundation is a very unique structure. It is still a company as well, Rafi, just to let you know.
Family office, right?
Not necessarily family office.
Okay, all
Foundation
right.
can be an NGO as well.
Okay.
Okay, it's a legal structure. What it does is a different story. It can be for non-profit. It can be even for sometimes it can be for but it's a very big, it's a very subjective question. I can't say anything whether it can be for profit usually. Okay, it will depend on the country's law or the free zones law which has issued corporate registrar's law that has been issued. Okay, so, but anyways, foundation is something that combines the structure of a trust and the limited liability company. But I will tell both of you a very interesting reality of UAE as well. Have you guys looked up the structure called trust in UAE mainland?
No, I
No,
haven't seen.
The latest trust law that has come, I forgot the year 2021 or I don't know which year is it, but we can check that. But if you look at the mainland trust law of UAE, you will be surprised to see that the trusts have also been given a separate legal personality to. So they are also a body corporate in UAE, unlike many countries of the world, unlike many established G20 countries of the world. You'll be surprised. Like
so they
if
will
you
have a trade license also.
Oh, I didn't say that. See, you are confusing.
Okay.
Don't confuse trade license with the entity. Any entity being a body corporate has nothing to do with whether it is issued a trade license or not. Please understand this point with a lot of clarity. Okay, that entity may or may not do business. It will not affect its legal personality. Please understand. Okay, legal
Okay.
personality is a completely different clause that is issued. That is there in the memorandum of association or the constitution of an entity, and they cannot even write. The founders or the promoters of the company or of that entity cannot even write that clause in the memorandum. Unless it is allowed under the governing law issued by the country. Okay, so for example, in case of UAE, if you look at the trust law, that is prevalent in the mainland UAE, you will see that the trust law has a clear clause article that is written there, which says the trusts have a separate legal personality of their own. It doesn't matter whether a trust can or cannot do business. That's a different question altogether. It has nothing to do with this. Whether a trust can or cannot do business? That's a separate topic altogether. In the law, I am telling you that the personality question has been addressed like that. Is this point clear to both of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes,
Okay, perfect. Very good. So I hope now you guys understand what is the meaning or the concept of juridical persons, right?
yes.
Now, my question still remains. Now that we have had this discussion, maybe you guys can answer me, unless you don't know the reason behind it. Why the word business income? When juridical person has been addressed, then why separately another word business income? I mean, the tax imposed by the decree law on all the legal person like foundations, trusts, LLCs, limited liability companies, or any other person for that matter, which are considered as juridical person under the UAE corporate tax
Sir,
law.
I will tell you. Now I remember, sir. In UAE, like there is no personal income tax is there. Okay, so like there are like a person who has invested. Okay, and when they are getting a return on this, like the rental properties, like I'm the individual and
Hmm.
I rented it out the residential property and I'm getting the rent. So that will not. That is not a that is income from investment. So yeah, in order to segregate that definition, they have put only business income. Because in the second case, if I'm running a this one what you call the a company and I'm doing it on a commercial basis, so that can be considered it as a business
Business
income. But
income.
if I'm doing,
But
yeah, and
when you
if
say I, are you talking
yeah,
about a juridical legal person or are you talking about a natural person? What
no,
is the
I'm talking
opposite?
about natural person.
What is the
I'm talking
opposite?
about natural person.
Very good, very good. What is the opposite of juridical person?
Non-juridical person,
Natural person.
natural person. Yes,
Can I, Rafi, do you understand this point? The entire persons
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be divided into two
Yeah,
categories.
absolutely. Any income which is generated in form of, yeah, got it. Natural and juridical person. Yeah, got
Natural
it.
and
So
juridical.
any income which is being generated in a form of business, right?
Okay, yeah. So what does that imply? Well, okay, let me solve this question puzzle. Guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
they in this definition, the word juridical persons was addressed with specifically addressed, by the way. But natural person was not never written in here. You understand what I'm saying? In this
yes, sir.
definition,
Yes,
natural person was never written here. So in a way, they brought natural person within the scope of this definition by saying that you can look at this tax in two different ways. First way is focus on the type of personality, which is the juridical legal person. That's one way to look at it. The meaning, if there is a legal person, that person will be subject to tax unless specifically excluded by the law. This is the first view of the tax. And then the second view is slightly different. Second view is that you don't look at the incomes from the personality perspective. So any type of personality, and we know how many types of personality are there, only two. It is either juridical person or natural person. So that means by changing our view from personality to the activity, both type of personalities are covered. Not only juridical is covered, but natural is also been covered. Why? Because natural person, that's $1 million point for us to remember, that a natural person can also earn business income, can also generate business income. And because this definition gives a view that corporate tax will be the tax imposed on the business income. I could add the words irrespective of who has earned it, whether a natural person has earned it or juridical person has earned it. So if it is business income, whether earned by natural person or juridical person, it will be the tax that is imposed on it that will be considered as corporate tax. You get my point? So but it's a
Perfect.
clever way of bringing in the natural person into this definition. Okay,
So
so that
any income which is generated by a natural person or a juridical person in the
uh,
form of business would be taxed,
would be
right?
taxed. Correct. Yes. Okay. So anyways, going to the next, that's why, so we have to, do a very detailed open heart surgery of the words that are written in the definition. We can't be hasty. We have to be slow. We have to understand the whole point of the words or expressions and then move on. Okay, so I did address this all the discussion in the very next point, what is meant by person. By the way, this word person has also been defined in the same article, and it has clearly been mentioned in the same article that person means either a natural person or a juridical person. Clear? And natural person has been identified. A human being conducting business activities, freelancer, sole trader. Juridical person, it's a legal entity established under UAE or foreign law. For example, LLC, PSC, FZCO, etc., etc. this is the discussion on person. But I think by now we have understood the concept of person. Am I right? Acha, one point, Rafi, I want to ask you. Have you observed something that wherever these specific definitions are there in Article 1, let me take you to the decree law as well again. Uh, have you observed that the all the definition expression, like for example, corporate tax, the first alphabet is capital.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Local government, L is capital, G is capital, right? Or here qualifying income, Q is capital, I is capital. Do you see this? Why did they do that?
Yes, yes.
This is a way of uh, this is called title case. When first alphabet is kept capital, this type of writing is called capital. Sorry, title case. So
Mm-hmm.
it automatically tells the reader that if in any part of the law later on in the provision, this is Article 1 only, right? But if we go to the next articles, for example, let's say this is the next, any article, and in that article, if you see the first alphabet has capital, so you should know that there will be that this is not a common noun. It's not a common noun or common expression, but it has already been defined in Article 1 of this law. It will mean this. So, for example, here it is. You see this terminology, Rafi?
Yeah, not extra.
Non-extractive natural resource business. What does that mean then? We don't know exact meaning of this, but by the way this word is written, we should know, oh, this
Detail.
is title case. That means this thing has already been defined in Article 1. And we can simply, copy it and we can go to Article 1 and paste it here and we'll find it. A person, okay, let me go to the previous. Okay, there you go. We have to reach the Article 1 basically. What was the terminology that we were looking at? Non-extractive natural resource business, right? So this is just a,
No,
how do you
extractive.
say,
Yeah.
an a point that we are trying to establish. There you go. You see this? Non-extractive natural resource business. Whatever the definition, we're going to read this definition in its own place. But this is only a demonstration that I wanted to show you that if in the law, in the decree law, some expression has been written like this with the first alphabets as capital, that would mean
Yeah.
that it has been defined in Article 1. Okay?
So anything which is given in the Article 1 of the capital would has a definition of that.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that has been defined in Article 1, l- uh, it will be written in the later articles in title case. That's what you should remember. Anything, I'm going to repeat what I just said. Anything, any expression that has been defined in Article 1. In the later parts of the law, in other articles, whenever that point is meant, that expression, that concept is mentioned, it will be written in title case, meaning first alphabet will be capital. Okay?
Yeah.
Uh,
Title case, in other words, definitions, right? Like in other.
yeah, yeah. That will it will be written in title case, and it will mean that it is a definition. And if we want to
Yeah.
understand this definition, we have to go to Article 1. And find
All
it
right.
over there and look it up over there, and it will be written the entire. You'll see this. What is this? Or this concept is this expression is business. It's a very interesting definition. We'll see this later on. It's coming. Just give it a minute, a few minutes. You'll see. We're going to discuss this later. Okay. So, anyways, coming back. So, person has been addressed as well. Now, this is all UAE law. UAE law. So I've mentioned wherever it is, it's written on this that Article 1 of the Federal Decree Law. What does Saudi Arabian perspective, Saudi Arabian corporate tax law say about it? Person means any natural or corporate person. This is written in the Article 1 of the Royal Decree number M1 of 2004. In Saudi Arabia, the corporate tax law was promulgated or implemented in 2004, way before UAE. Okay. And in that law, it is defined, it is written that person means any natural or corporate person. Similar definition. Do you agree, guys?
Yeah.
Then in Oman, it says a person means a natural person or jurisdictional or juristic person and includes joint venture and non-Omani partnership agreements that do not assume the form of a company. So that very interesting. So person will include not only natural person but legal person as well. This is Oman, but it also includes joint ventures and it even includes certain partnerships which have non-Omani partners. Okay, and they are only partnerships usually the regular normal type of partnership, they do not assume the form of a company. If you look at the partnership law, whether in India or Pakistan or other parts of the world, the partnership law does not grant a separate juridical status by default. In an exceptional situation, limited liability partnerships can exist in a country, so that's a different story. But generally speaking, the default structure of a partnership, it is not the same as that of a company. It is not a legal entity, separate legal entity personality. Okay, so that was the definition of Oman. What about Qatar? Any individual company or other body of person. So wow, that's a broad definition. Any individual company or any other body of person. That's Qatar's perspective. What does Kuwait say? Not explicitly defined. So that was all the discussion. That's how GCC has defined, uh, the word person. Is this point clear to all? We'll go to the next definition now. Is this okay? Any questions?
Yeah, I can proceed. So,
Okay. So the next topic or concept is business. Uh, any activity which is conducted regularly on an ongoing basis and independent basis. Three criteria mentioned here. Okay. Any activity conducted regularly on an ongoing and independent basis. Then the next part is by any person. It can be legal person or juridical person. And in any location, such as, and these are the types of activities then: industrial, commercial, agricultural, vocational, professional, service, or excavation activities. All different types of activities. Or any other activity related to the use of tangible or intangible properties. So if there is any tangible or intangible properties, maybe letting out of that property, allowing someone right of use of that property, etc., etc. Yeah, so all of these activities using this is business. Now, my question with Rafi. Rafi, what does this word regularly mean? Any activity conducted regularly?
actively doing business.
Actively, regular. Uh,
Regular without.
Rafi, let me say something. Allow
Yeah.
me to say something. As tax practitioners, as I said earlier as well, pay attention to the word that has been used, especially the dictionary meaning, the letter and spirit meaning of the word that has been used. Okay, we can't be hasty. Regularly does not mean active, because the opposite of active is inactive, and regularly has nothing to do with activity or active or inactive status of a business. We have to look at the contrast as well, right? So if you're saying active, the opposite of active is what? Inactive or non-active. But that's not the intention of the word regular. What do you think, Vinay? Why the word regular?
Regularly, yes. Like if I'm no sir, not specifically.
It is a actually the word regularly here reflects pattern of repetition. Regular. This guy is a very regular customer. What does that mean? Somebody goes to a shop every day. We call it a regular customer, right? Yeah, this guy is regular. He keeps coming back, isn't it? So
Yes.
that's a concept of repetition. There's a pattern of repetition. That's why the word regular. Okay. Why the law use the second criteria of the activity as ongoing? What would that ongoing mean? Any idea?
Continuation, right?
Sorry,
Continuation, right?
continuation.
Ongoing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very good, very good. You are actually on the right track. Very right. Yeah, what about you, Vinay?
Yes, same.
Same? Okay. Have you heard about both of you are professional accountants, I believe, right? So you
Yes.
must have read or heard about the going concern assumption in the financial
Yes.
statements, right?
Yes.
Financial statements are
Yes.
prepared on going concern assumption, right, Rafi?
Yes.
So this is where what this ongoing is pointing out towards, that this is not maybe a hobby or something quickly going to finish. No, it's an ongoing activity. It will not immediately culminate and or become bankrupt or immediately stop. So that's the point of ongoing. Okay. What about why did the law use the third criteria as independent basis? Either of you?
Separate independent basis.
Why independent? Okay, let me ask a question. Rafi, I believe you're employed, right? Somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
certainly.
So you get a salary income, right?
Of course, yes. Yeah.
So usually under the law, if you're employed, can you work with the competitor of your employer?
No, I'm not supposed to.
You're not supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you also allowed to earn so money from those things which are prohibited, under the labor law, under the employment law, and all that? So there's a lot of restrictions on an employee, right?
Yeah, exactly. You cannot have a second income until you have an NOC from the
NOC.
employer.
Exactly, exactly. Those things are there, right? Do you think
Yeah,
this is an independent income that you are earning, or is it a dependent income?
it's a dependent income.
Exactly. That's the whole point of independent and independent. But if you were not an employee, you were a contractor, a different type of contractor with your own company and all that. Uh, Chances are that you would not be under these embargoes. Am I right?
Yeah, kind of freelancer.
Kind of a freelancer. So you will have not one client, but you will have multiple clients,
All right.
right? So would that make your income independent basis income?
Yeah. Yes.
So if you understood this point, then very good, because this is exactly what it means. Dependent, we'll see that later on. If it is not written, I'm telling you now that usually dependency is of three types. You are either legally dependent because you are restricted by law not to do otherwise, legal dependency. Financially dependent, you're not restricted by law, but you're so dependent because of the money that is coming in from a particular source or an employer, or an entity, that you are just not in a position to violate that out of the threat, out of the risk that this money will be discontinued. So that's financial dependency. Legal dependency, financial dependency, and I think there's a third criteria of economic dependency as well. Other reasons, there could be other reasons that this is one of the from an economic perspective, from a cultural perspective, maybe from the socio-economic social perspective, you're not able to do something. You're stuck with one party only. That's dependency. This concept of dependent versus independent, you will see that it plays a vital role in certain other parts of the corporate tax law as well. For example, we are going to see one example of dependent agent permanent establishment. So sometimes there's something called permanent establishment is formed in a country where a dependent agent exists. So we'll reach that point later on. We'll see that. So, but I hope you guys understood the concept of dependent versus independent. So regularly
Yeah.
ongoing independent, three criteria have been mentioned in the law for business, and then rest of it is easier. It was the main part that we need to understand. Is this concept or the definition of the terminology or the definition business clear to both of you?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
okay, so let us look at certain other perspective. As I mentioned, the G20 countries are the 20 biggest nations of the world, right? In terms of economics, right? In business and trade and economics, etc. USA is one of the G20 countries. So some of those in USA, a lot of discussion has been put on business. It's a very, very nice, very elaborate explanation of the concept of business. So under US Treasury regulation, the Internal Revenue Services, it examines 9 factors. In US, for an activity to be considered as business, 9 different criteria or 9 different factors are seen to determine, to assess whether an activity is profit driven, whether it constitutes business, whether it can be termed as business. What are those? Manner of carrying out the activity. Is this activity conducted in a business-like manner? The proper books are maintained, business account is there, business plans are there, etc. There's a legal case as well. Uh, uh, Engdahl versus Commissioner, lack of formal records weakened the profit motive. So there was a case that was fought in the U.S. Court of Law between the Commissioner of Income Tax IRS versus this company Engdahl in 1994, where the company or the party did not maintain enough records and etc. So it was the profit motive was not proven. So that was the outcome of the expertise of the taxpayer or advisor. Does the taxpayer have knowledge or seek professional advice to improve profitability? Taxpayer. So if there was another case where a horse breeder with no expertise claiming losses may fail this test, right? So that's an example. So if you are a horse, if you're claiming to be a horse breeder, you don't know anything about horses. So, so that does that would that constitute a business? No, it will not probably. So it's more likely to be a hobby rather than business. Time and effort expanded. Does the taxpayer devote substantial time to the activity? Why are we reading all of this, क्या नाम है, Rafi? Why do you think all of these criteria have to be evaluated? Can you think of a reason? Why are we addressing all of this?
As you said initially, there are 9 criteria to meet to form a business in US. That's
Yeah,
what you
but
said.
like how these factors will become relevant in UAE?
Because so can I say
Yeah, yeah.
because it's again the ball is coming towards the your business income. If the manner of conducting the activity is not a business, then it will not be considered as a business income. What like in case of this horse you breeder,
Hmm,
this is the perfect example.
exactly. So, see, I'll tell you why. There can be a situation, who knows, I'm just creating a fake a fictitious, imaginary situation, that for any taxpayer or for any natural person, for example, tomorrow FTA, Federal Tax Authority, issues a notice, right, Rafi? Federal Tax
Hmm.
Authority says that, look, you are conducting a business, pay us this much millions of dirhams of tax, right? Now the natural
Hmm.
person is that person, okay, he may be a wealthy person. That's why a big notice came to him, pay 5 million dirham of tax and backdated taxes, right? So he's a wealthy person. But he says, no, but that's not my business. This is my hobby. Why are you putting tax on me? Right? So what will happen?
Hmm.
They will both get into a legal fight, Federal Tax Authority versus the natural person, right?
Yes,
It is
correct.
possible. So this whole matter will go into the court of law, right? If you look at the UAE definition, in the this is corporate tax decree law, right? And if I go into the corporate tax decree law and if I try to see the meaning or the concept of business, that's it. My God, such a small definition, and that's it. In few sentences, the entire definition of business has been ended up, finished. No guidance, no detailed further guidance, whatever it is, right? Do you think that will be enough? Only 3 or 4 points that have been mentioned. Naturally for 5-10 million dirhams, Federal Tax Authority is not going to leave that person easily. They are going to properly pursue this through their lawyers. But in the contrast, the other person was also not a poor person. He was a rich person and he had a very expensive hobby. So he's going to hire maybe some serious level of advocates, some Mimi advocates or Hadif and partner or something, Habib al Mullah, and advocate. Then there will be a legal fight going on in the court of law, right? So the partner, so, the both side of lawyers are going to first of all refer to this definition of business, and they'll say, no, there's okay, fine. Some examples have been mentioned here, but I think there is a lot of gray area in here. So we want to, deeply investigate further whether this thing was at all business. You see this corporate tax definition? That's where the word business came for the first time. Mr. Rafi, do
Does
you
it come
get
under
my
the
point?
criteria of business? Yeah. Does it come under the criteria of business income? Got
If
it.
it does not come under the criteria of business income, then is Federal Tax Authority right in sending the notice of tax to that person? If it is not business income, then is it right
No,
to
no, it is not right.
it's not right. That's what the lawyers of that person, natural person, are going to claim. So they are going to bring in,
But I have a question. I have a question.
yes.
Uh, since FTA is giving a notice on this, was there something came into FTA purview that this person is have to pay taxes because of so much of revenue or whatever, and the revenue was clubbed, the business income and the other income is also clubbed in the financials.
No, so that see, please understand. First of all, usually this type of a situation, it would not be documented. First of all, chances are it will not be documented, right? Otherwise,
Hmm.
why would a person document something which is his hobby? That's the whole point,
Yeah,
right? We saw that.
yeah,
We just saw that. So
correct.
it is not usually it is not documented as some as in nobody documents their hobbies, right? So usually don't, right? But then how does the tax authorities of the world can capture that, suddenly investigate and reveal or capture? So it happens, my dear. There are so many ways for the tax authorities to unravel or reveal or uncover certain things or activities that people conduct, which could have been actually business, there was an effort, there was a cognizant effort, there was an intentional effort to keep it either hidden or under the radar, right? It happens around the world, right? The majority, every single, every taxpayer who has a slightly devious attitude, they try to hide, they try to pay as little tax as possible, unlike other people who are honest, who are who believe in transparency. But if the taxpayers are a little bit dishonest, they'll try to hide things, right? So tax authorities are vigilant. They have to keep an open eye. For example, during the course of audit of their business income, right? No, the company
Yes,
related
yes, yes.
tax audits, they might ask for the personal bank statement of the shareholders, right? Just to kind of investigate whether unexplained income is there, or increase in the bank balances is there. I'm just thinking out loud, right? It is possible or not?
Yeah, it is possible, absolutely. If it is any
Yes,
time
possible.
during the audit, if they have a doubt, they still can have a question on personal income as well. Yeah.
Personally, so they'll ask the business, bank statement. Give us your bank statement. We want to see. Give us your detail of your personal assets to the shareholder. And when they start looking at the personal assets, oh my God, what is this income? How is your bank account going up when there's no dividends or money coming from your business in here? How did you suddenly increase your, how did you increase this amount personal assets or
Yeah.
personal bank increase?
Your
So
bank
that's
balance or your asset.
uh,
Yeah.
so you got my point. That's how they can unravel. Okay.
Mm.
So
All right.
coming back to where we were, right? We were discussing what we were talking about, why we are going through this. So the reason that we are going through all of this is so that we should not only stick with the law the law and the provisions that are written inside the corporate tax law, but we have to think outside the box. We have to have a research mindset with us, so that we can think outside. We can think why that definition was designed in that manner in the UAE corporate tax law. So for that to get that answer, you have to go out of the UAE corporate tax law. You have to start looking at international taxation, other countries, mature jurisdictions. Okay, that's why we are
Uh,
studying this. So, anyways, coming back, time and effort expended. We saw that, if there is a substantial time given to an activity. So there was another case law, Churchman versus Commissioner 2006. Minimal time spent on the racing horses. It suggested a hobby. There's another case law, Commissioner versus Goetzinger, 1987. A full-time gambler. Wow, this is a very interesting case. A full-time gambler was ruled to be in a trade or business because gambling was his primary income source, conducted continuously and systematically. Do you get my point? That this is an example. It's a gambler, right? Gambling can be ideally, I mean, usually it's considered as a hobby, but in this case, a full-time gambler was ruled to be in trade or business. This is an amazing, a very good case for us to remember.
do
Okay.
we also consider these points into UAE corporate
Oh,
tax purview?
of course, why not?
Right.
See,
Right.
why? Because has it been addressed in the UAE corporate tax law in this detail?
Yeah. Okay.
No, sir.
No, it has not been addressed. So that means, and so what does that mean? If it has not been addressed, that means this does not apply. No, we say that UAE tax law is silent on certain details. We say silent. We don't say that it is not allowed in the UAE law. So if there is silence, how do we break the silence? We create references from other parts of the world, from the judicial authorities, jurisprudence. We call it jurisprudence, the logical, reasoning, jurisprudence. Prudence means reasoning, juris means legal. So legal reasoning and arbitration, argumentations, etc. From there we
So,
create
but
our guide.
I
Yeah.
I have a question. So,
Yes.
but to take a reference of an international taxes,
Uh-huh.
is it okay to use that references for the UAE tax laws? Is it fine, or is there any
This
something
is
which
a
has been signed?
This is
Yeah.
a commonplace around the world, my dear. It's not just UAE. UAE being one of the best and most advanced countries of the world in this sense, they follow the best practice. Okay, around the world.
Okay.
If you you look at India. Are you from India?
Yeah, I'm from southern part of India. Yeah.
Okay, so have a look at the Indian court cases. You will be surprised to see that the Indian court cases, judgments, etc., are full of references from the happenings in the courts of law from around the world. Right? Why? Okay, think of
Yes.
it's a common sense answer. Think of it. Why someone would want this guidance? It's a common sense answer. See, the courts of law, they no, they don't blindly act as like, like sheep. That, whatever is written, the wordings of the law, we are going to look at the wordings of the law, and that's it. We're not going to think outside the box. We're not going to think about the logic. It doesn't matter. The court is the biggest source which unravels the logic behind things, right? They go into the philosophy of matter. That's why the courts around the world, they benefit from the other courts around the world. Why? Because the philosophy of a matter has been discussed, my dear. Beyond the only wordings of the law, philosophies have been discussed. So that's why the references matter of
Sir,
international.
in UAE also now the Abu Dhabi Court of Citizen has started pronouncing the judgment. I think I read one judgment in April also, April this year,
Hmm.
and last year also, and day before, and that also in VAT. So
Huh.
now slowly, like what I can see, yeah, in UAE courts also,
Hmm.
the matters are going, especially in case of VAT and in corporate tax. I can see in coming next 2 to 3 years,
Hmm.
the same judgments will be there.
Excellent.
Am I right?
Absolutely, yes. And if you look at the Saudi Arabia, you will be seriously surprised to see how much Saudi Arabia has quoted the judgments from their courts of law in taxation. You'll be surprised. The documents there's abundant documentation available for the court judgments on tax matters, and it is all available if you go to the Zatka website. You can download it from there.
Yes.
Years and years of judgment. You know?
So means Saudi Arabia has also started getting the court cases.
No, Saudi Arabia has been doing it for a long time now.
Ah, okay,
UAE
okay, okay.
started now. Saudi Arabia has
Yes,
been
yes.
doing it for a number of years now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was not aware for Saudi Arabia. I was
yeah,
thinking
I
that
know. I know.
now.
So I got aware actually when I was writing my book on Saudi Arabia for the VAT. So that's
Okay.
where I saw that amazing stuff. You have to visit the Zatka website. You will be impressed.
Okay.
Huge amount of jurisprudence, judicial rulings are there that have been provided, and a lot of philosophical discussions have been there, my dear. It is amazing. One of the best sources that I found for VAT law in GCC was the Zatka website, where court judgments have been mentioned for different types of conflicts, etc. That's a very valuable source for us. Okay, shall we move to the next topic? Expectations of assets appreciation. It's another criteria. Is do we see that are profits expected from asset value growth, like for example land collectible, rather than ongoing operation? You see this point? Like, okay, there's an example. Buying and holding art for appreciation is not a business activity. Yeah, this can be a passive income. So it is not business activity, right? This was and actually, by the way, this is a case law. Simon v. Commissioner in 2000. This is US case law cited here. Okay. Any question until now, my dear Rafi?
No, sir, you can
No,
proceed
okay.
further.
Okay. Success is similar activities. Has the taxpayer profited in related ventures before? Another case law. Past success in writing supported profit motive. In this particular case, the profit motive was supported, and most probably the commissioner won the case and applied the tax on Dreiser. That was 1983. History of income and losses. Are losses temporary, startup phase, or continuous, indicating a hobby? So IRS safe harbor. So there's a IRS has provided a safe harbor, meaning profits in 3 out of 5 years, or in case of horse breeding, 2 out of 7 years. If there is profit in 3 out of 5 years, or in case of horse breeding business, if there is profit in 2 out of the 7 years, then it will create a presumption of profit motive. That's a kind of a safe harbor, a kind of a facilitation provided to taxpayers. Okay, so this is IRS US. Amount of occasional profits. Every small profits may support a business claim if non-recreational. So even if there is a small profit, it can still prove to be business if it is non-recreational purposes. Okay, this is also financial status of the taxpayer. If the taxpayer has other income sources, the IRS may argue the activity is a hobby. Okay, so this can taxpayer has other income sources. So main income is coming from other sources. So this will be a hobby. The business activity, the activity that we are evaluating. Elements of personal pleasure. Does the activity involve recreation or personal enjoyment? Like for example, yacht racing or art collecting. So is it personal pleasure? That if it is personal pleasure, it is not business usually, right? So these are the 9 different criteria which the United States considers while determining whether it is business, whether there is a profit motive or not. Okay. Now that was all. That was from US, one of the G20 countries. Another G20 country is Saudi Arabia, which happens to be a GCC country as well. How is business addressed there? Defined under the term activity. In the law of Saudi Arabia, the word business might not be there, but this word, it is defined under the word activity. Any form of commercial activity or any vocational, professional, or any other similar activity for profit. That is business. Vocational, professional, or other similar activity. This includes the use of movable and immovable property. All of that is covered under the terminology activity. This is Saudi Arabia. So it's quite similar, isn't it? Vocational, professional, and the commercial activity, etc. Let's see what Oman says. A profession, craft, trade, industry, venture, or any work aimed at profit or income, including the exploitation of movable and immovable property. Exploitation of movable and immovable property. All of that This is considered as business under the Oman law. What about Qatar? Defined as an activity, and in particular the commercial, industrial, vocational, professional, and any other activity. All of that has been defined in Qatar as law. If you look, if you keep looking at it, all of this is quite common, similar on similar lines. It has been defined, right? Even in Kuwait, let's see. Here, I think there will be some mention of agent or something, but defined under activity again. So what is that? Commercial, non-commercial. Even non-commercial, industrial, real estate, transportation, contracting, speculation. Wow, wagering, speculation, brokerage or venture activity of commercial nature, or performance of paid service of whatever type, or mining of any natural wealth or water. All of that has been defined as business in Kuwait. So what we just saw, that was all a detailed discussion on the topic of business. We are about to move to the next topic. Before I do that, I want to ask you if there are any questions, anything left. Rafi or Vinay, shall I move to the next one or have any question?
We can
So
proceed, sir.
next one, sir. You can proceed.
Hmm. Okay, so now we are coming to the taxable person. A person subject to corporate tax in the state. What is a taxable person, Rafi? Again, is this a definition? Yes, it is a definition under Article 1. A person subject to corporate tax in the state under the decree law. A taxable person under the UAE corporate tax law is either a resident person or a non-resident person. And which article says that? This is Article 11 actually of the federal decree law. That is going to come later. We are going to read that in a lot more detail. Right now, this is only an introduction, a teaser. Taxable person, who is a taxable person? Who has to pay corporate tax? A person subject to corporate tax, who who is subject to corporate tax. And the two types of taxable person is, it's an easy one. Only either a resident person or a non-resident person. So they are going to be addressed in detail. So is it clear, Rafi, who is a taxable person
Yeah,
and how many taxable persons are there? Types?
we have two, right? Resident and non-resident taxable person, juridical and natural.
No, here you don't raise the
He,
topic of juridical natural.
okay,
Here
okay.
only
Here we
say
trace it resident,
a non-resident.
resident person and non-resident person. Yeah,
That's
all
right.
right.
Yes. When we go there, that's where we will see the further details in terms of the natural and legal. That's a different story. Okay. Now, how is the corporate tax law applied or levied? So this has been addressed in Article 2 of the Federal Decree Law. So UAE corporate tax is imposed on taxable income to begin with, right? Corporate tax, simple. It is applied on taxable income, and it is levied at the different rates that have been provided. We're going to see rates are mentioned in Article 3 actually, levied at the rates of 0%, 9%, and 15%, and it is payable to Federal Tax Authority. Um, Now, another question that is going to be, what is taxable income then? So, Rafi, what do you think is taxable income?
Any income which has been generated in form of business, right?
Any income, then what is it different from accounting income? Or is it one and the same thing?
I
Okay.
don't know why you put the term accounting income here.
Yeah. Okay. Let's let's have a look at this sentence. Taxable
Okay.
income refers to accounting income of a taxable person, but which is adjusted for the following. You see this point?
Okay.
So this is our starting point is what?
Accounting income.
This is our starting point. But then later on, what do we do?
Adjustments.
Adjustments. What adjustments? Any unrealized gains or
In
loss. if we want to do that adjustment. We'll see in detail that there are certain options allowed for this. Exempt income. What kind of an adjustment do you think will be done to accounting income if it includes some exempt income? Do you know what is the concept of exempt?
Yeah, exception, which is not,
Yeah,
it cannot be
yeah.
added to
Dividend
the profit.
income, for example, is an exempt income. So in accounting income, it will increase the income. So when I'm calculating taxable income, I will reduce the exempt income.
Yeah. So, so you're
Dividend
right.
itself has
Uh,
some rules, right? If I'm
Sorry, say again.
not wrong.
Say again. Say again.
Dividend income do have some rules, and dividend income do have some rules, right? If I'm not wrong. For example, if a company earns a dividend income and that should uh, hold a share more than 5%,
Oh, that is participating. That is
in,
like yeah. That is participating exemption. That is different.
So,
okay.
I'm talking about like the normal dividend income from the resident or the local, just a normal sense.
a dividend is one type of
Yeah,
income that in
Okay, I
many
got it.
cases, majority cases may be
it is
exempt.
exempt.
My question was
Mm.
different. Vinay, let Rafi answer my question.
Okay.
Rafi, my question was slightly different. My question was what is exempt income? Rafi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still thinking like exempt
Uh,
income. Like one
uh,
of the point that he said already,
okay,
dividend income cannot. Yeah,
okay, don't worry about it. Let in dictionary terms, what is the meaning of exempt?
the income which cannot be added, right, to
Which
the
which cannot be added.
added.
Okay, the literal or dictionary meaning of exempt is uh, someone or something to which rules do not apply.
Okay, that
Do you get
income
my point?
cannot be considered.
Huh? Sorry,
That income cannot be considered.
that income cannot be considered. Yes. So
Right.
exempt income. Now you point these are the correct words or the correct expression you've used. That income which cannot be considered for taxation, right? So you cannot apply tax rates or tax on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's exempt income. If it is exempt, then don't you think that we will have to remove the effect of it from the accounting income in order to convert that accounting income into taxable income? Don't you think so?
Yes.
So that's exactly what it is. We have to remove the element of exempt income from accounting income. Clear? Is this point clear, my dear, or not?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Some other adjustments are also there. For example, there may be some reliefs. It is going to come up later on. There may be some more deductions. Accounting income, when we say accounting income, it is already profit before tax. Right. Profit before tax means we started from the revenue, we reduced all the different expenses like cost of goods sold, operating expenses, other expenses, admin, selling, market, whatever it is, we removed all of those expenses, even financial expenses, right? And then that's where when we reached a profit before tax, right? The but the question is, have you ever heard or experienced or read that it is quite possible that certain things might not be deducted in profit and loss account, but they will be allowed to be deducted in while you're calculating the tax of a person. Have you heard this point before? Some deductions are only in tax, not in the profit and loss account or income statement. Rafi, have you heard about?
Can you, I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat again?
I'll repeat. Think of you've seen or you have prepared profit and loss account, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You have, right? So how does a profit and loss account look like? It starts from revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there are deductions like cost of goods sold,
Correct. Yeah.
right?
Your
And
operating expenses, yeah.
then operating expenses, admin expenses, selling
Mm-hmm.
expenses, financial
Mm-hmm.
expenses, etc. Right? So many deductions. And after all these deductions, where do we reach? What is the bottom line? So revenue minus cost of goods sold minus all the operating expenses, financial expenses. What does that equal?
Gross profit.
Huh? Gross profit. Gross
Net
profit.
profit.
Net
Net,
profit, sorry.
net profit. No, profit before tax.
Tax, yeah.
Profit before tax. Right. We reach the element of profit. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's accounting, right? This is purely accounting based profit and loss account. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
What if the tax law said, hey, you can deduct certain one or two other things as well in addition to what you have deducted under accounting. So those additional things that are deductible, which were not deducted under accounting profit and loss account, they will they would be called allowable tax deduction. Do you understand what I just said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you think of any example, just one example? Can you think of something like that that will be allowed as a deduction in when you are preparing the corporate tax return? But you did not. But under the IFRS or under the accounting rules, you did not deduct it. Can you think of any such adjustment, any such thing? Okay? Let me ask Vinay. Maybe he can answer.
Sir, as per me, like when we are preparing the PNL, so yeah, we are reducing the client entertainment expense 100%. Okay, and when we are calculating the corporate tax liability
No,
in case of
no, no,
taxable
no,
person,
wrong answer. This was not.
so then we are
You are talking about a
Because,
deduction that is not allowed.
yeah, this should be.
My
yes,
question
yes,
was different. My question was, tell me a deduction that is
okay,
allowed under tax law, but it was not given under IFRS. Under the normal profit and loss or income statement that we prepared, we did not subtract it as an expense. But when we are preparing the corporate tax return, we took the accounting profit before tax, and then we further
okay.
reduced it by an additional deduction in tax only, which we did not do in accounting. Can you think of such a deduction, additional deduction in tax?
No, no, sir.
You cannot. Oh, okay. I thought you would be able to answer, Vinay. You've gone through it before. Okay, but anyways, nonetheless, Rafi, I'm sure you didn't answer as well, right?
Mm,
So I'll tell
yeah,
you now. Okay.
yeah.
There is not one but multiple things. For example, let me tell you, one of the common things that Vinay should have answered because he has gone through it before with me is transfer pricing adjustments.
Yes, yes, sir.
Like, do you know what is transfer pricing adjustment, Rafi? Transfer pricing adjustments are when you are selling something to a related party, same group
Like,
company, or you're
mm-hmm.
buying something from a related party like a same
Mm-hmm.
group company, right? And you have
Mm-hmm.
either overpriced something or underpriced something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So under the IFRS, it may be allowed,
Mm-hmm.
but under the tax law, tax law always talks about arm's length price
As per the market price.
as per the market price. So the tax law will require the taxpayer to do an additional deduction if the seller had understated the price. Okay.
Overvalued or sold. Okay.
Undervalued.
Undervalued.
You purchase something. Your company purchased something from a sister company.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Okay, you are the owner of both companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your one company purchased something from a sister company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both companies you own, so you control the prices in both companies, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, the company that is selling, let's keep it at a lower than market
Market
price.
price.
Okay, so keep it at, let's say, 80% of the market price. So this company for which you are preparing the corporate tax return, their expense from a tax point of view is understated or not?
Yeah, it is.
understated, na?
Yeah.
So, what will be the adjustment that the tax law is going to require? They will say, no, this is not right. You are understating your expenses. The market value of this thing, it should be a slightly higher, right? So
Uh,
it
so
cannot be.
transfer pricing takes a override on the IFRS rules.
Yes, absolutely. Transfer pricing takes an override over the IFRS. Okay, under IFRS it may be even allowed, but
Hmm.
under because IFRS is not concerned with in that sense with the arm's length and all that, right?
Principles.
Yeah, while expensing and expense income. But here, I mean, from a tax point of view, it will be a problem. So we have to, and actually, any tax authority will not disturb a taxpayer if he wants to pay more tax. You see my point?
Okay.
Yeah. If
Uh,
hear me out carefully, because this is a critical point for you to understand what I'm about to say. Please understand this. What this discussion. Tax authority, if you're understating your expenses, tax authority might not come to you saying that why are you understating expenses? If you're understating expenses, what does that mean? You're paying more tax. Am I
more
right?
taxes.
Right?
Yeah.
So what do you think is tax authority will feel? Will they be happy or not?
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, na? More money coming in. Very good, right? They will not really come to you saying that why are you paying us more tax, right?
Yeah.
However, the problem is that the other entity, the seller,
Hmm.
what are they doing?
They are paying less.
Exactly. The seller is understating their revenue.
Mhm.
And by understating their revenue, they're paying less
Low
tax,
tax. Less
less
tax.
tax
Yeah.
to the tax authority. But while the tax authority may not come to this company, which is understating its expense and paying more tax, the tax authority will definitely go to the other company, which is understating their revenue. And
Uh,
and since the tax authority has to go to that other company, which is understating the revenue, so ultimately the tax authority will be compelled to accept the claim of this company, which because you're the owner of both companies, right? So you will say that, okay, so you want to harm us from one company, then we should claim the benefit in the other company, right? So you will go back to the tax authority saying that you said that increase the revenue in my seller company. Okay, we have increased the revenue. Now give us the credit in this company where we had, you know. Right. Sorry. Apologies for that. We are continuing. It seems that the session got temporarily discontinued, but I'm back. So who has joined us? We have one more person. Who's joined us? Numeric Global. Can you please unmute? Hello. Yeah. Hello. Who's joined us in addition to Mr. Rafi and Mr. Vinay?
Yes, sir. Abu Bakr here.
Abu Bakar. Okay.
Abu
Welcome,
Bakr
Abu Bakar.
Siddiq.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Thank you,
Welcome.
sir.
Okay, anyways, I'm sorry for temporary discontinuance, Mr. Rafi. I'm going to continue with what we were talking about. So did you did you understand the last point that we addressed, that how there is a possibility that certain tax allowable deductions might come in as adjustment. Is this point clear? Shall we move to the next point?
yeah, sure. But I have one question before we proceed to the next
Yes.
point.
Yes.
The transfer pricing comes into a place where to the related party and connected party only if it is undervalued. If it is overvalued, no.
No, so please understand something. Whenever the matter of transfer pricing comes, okay, it
Hmm.
it will always be first of all between related parties.
Hmm.
And so that means any matter of transfer pricing will not be addressed unilaterally with one person. if there is any change or any adjustment or any modification to be made, the effect will be not with one person, but with two persons always.
Always.
Seller as well as buyer. Understood?
Mhm.
Did you get my point? Is it clear to you guys? To you?
Yeah. Because
Uh,
you weren't specifically saying about undervalued only, so I was just wondering,
no,
like,
this is one example only. And if you really
okay,
think about it, my illustration of this expense, it does not only address undervalued, it addresses overvaluation of something as well. It is understating of the expense in one company, but it is understating of revenue in the other company. And
got
because
it.
of this, profit is being overstated in one company and understated in the other company. Or
Got
it can be a vice versa scenario as well, vice versa. Like originally the sales price was supposed to be 100, but one company, the seller company, obnoxiously increased it to 200 or 150. So now this company, the seller company, is overstating its revenue, and the buyer company is overstating what? Its expense. You agree?
Yeah, correct.
Transfer pricing can be both ways. And why this type of a game is played is just to avoid tax while remaining within law. This is called tax avoidance. Okay.
Okay.
So there's a separate detailed discussion on this. As a matter of fact, transfer pricing is a separate doctrine in its own self, in its own right. There's a full-fledged diploma awarded on transfer pricing. So it's a very, very vast subject. You know, Big Fours and larger companies have separate transfer pricing partners to
Hmm.
only, for the transfer pricing alone. So it's a very detailed, probably tax law, the biggest amount of tax litigation in the world for matters of taxation happens in transfer pricing. Okay. So anyways, uh,
Then it is like a very good area to practice or to gain knowledge in
oh,
the future in UAE. In UAE.
absolutely, absolutely. Transfer pricing is a huge area
In
to focus.
UAE as well.
UAE as well, so to UAE, especially UAE. You know why?
Yeah.
200 nationalities of the world are sitting in UAE.
Mm-hmm.
So the level on which transfer pricing is going to apply to UAE, you will
Mm-hmm.
see that it will be unprecedented in this region
In coming months or coming
in the
years.
coming years. In the coming years,
Yeah.
transfer pricing will play a huge role in UAE. You will see that.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, so any incentive or special release. So in short, Rafi, let me understand if you have understood what is taxable income. Can you repeat in your own words, Rafi, what is taxable income? What did you understand out of it?
Uh,
Hello. Yeah.
so as the point which already states that taxable income is it is the income that is which is generated after all your adjustments.
What is the starting point for the taxable income?
Accounting income.
Okay. Accounting income. So the taxable, in order to calculate taxable income, our starting point is accounting income, and then what do we do?
Adjustments.
We do the adjustments to that accounting income, and as a result,
Exactly.
we get, what do we get?
The profitable income.
Taxable income,
Taxable income, sorry.
not profitable income, taxable income. Okay. So taxable income is the base on which we apply corporate tax rate. Okay. And that gives us how much amount of tax we have to pay to the government. Okay. This is what we have written here. This is addressed in Article 20 of the Federal Decree Law 47. Okay. This will come in a next chapter in detail, a lot more detail. So one or two more points we have to understand. Passive income of a natural person such as income from personal investments and salary income, are not subject to UAE corporate tax. These are passive incomes, right? So return on investment basically, or real estate related investment, rental income on the real estate property that you, unless it is your core business income. That's it. Then under a trade license, then that's a separate, different scenario. But if it is only if you, so many people do jobs or do other things, right? But they have excess amount of money and then they buy properties out of it, for example, or invest in share market or something, right? So any money that would come out of those investments, it will be out of the scope of UAE corporate tax. This will be considered as passive income. Is this point clear, Rafi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So, Rafi, now let us have a look at this illustration, carefully understand it, and then give me the answer of this. John is an employee and has earned 480,000 dirhams per annum in the salary. Okay, this is his salary income. 83.1 million from return on his personal investments in shares and real estate for the year 2025. He also has management consulting freelancer license in Dubai, which has earned a revenue of 4.2 million. What, in your view, um uh, uh, Rafi, would be his taxability?
You'll be taxable only on the freelancing.
Income.
Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely. So 480 of his 480,000 dirham of salary will be out of scope
Yes.
of the UAE corporate tax. What about 3.1 million? Will it also be out
Out
of
of scope.
scope?
Yes.
Because this is what? Passive income. So
Yeah.
absolutely, this is what is written here. Your answer is correct. Okay. Uh, Taxable income in other GCC countries, how is it defined? So Saudi Arabia has defined taxable activity rather than the nomenclature of taxable income. Saudi Arabia calls it taxable activity. So any commercial, professional or profit driven activity, including the use of movable, for example, machinery, and immovable, for example, real estate property, is subject to taxation. This is Article 1 of Decree Law number M1 of 2004. And taxable income they have defined as includes all revenues, profits, gains, and capital gains from business activities. Exempt income, if any, is deducted before taxation. This is Article 8 of that same Royal Decree Law number M1. This is Saudi Arabia, okay? And what tax rate? Standard rate of 20%. And there's a high rate also, 85%, but that is applicable to oil and hydrocarbon producers, okay? This is Article 6 and 7 of the decree law of Saudi Arabia. So similar, taxable income has been defined in a slightly similar manner to UAE. If you look at Oman, it says includes any activity, and in particular the commercial, industrial, vocational, professional, and any other activity. This is Omani law, basically Omani tax law. Additionally, profit from any business is explicitly included in the scope of taxable income. So profit from any business is included in taxable income. Income means income of any kind, minus any kind, whether in cash or in kind, and includes profit from a business. Okay, so one of the this is Article 35 of the Omani law. Additionally, taxable income is the gross income of the any taxpayer for the tax year after deducting the expenses or allowing any deductions or set off or any exemption. That is taxable income under the Omani tax law. And what about Qatar? Uh, Qatar has defined the word activity as a profession, craft, trade, industry, venture, or any work aimed at profit or income, including the exploitation of movable and immovable property. That is Qatar. So again, same thing, different types of activities have been mentioned, trade, industry, this, that. Even the mention of properties has been brought in. Additionally, gross income gross income in Qatar. It refers to the total income of the taxpayer in the financial year, and taxable income is the net income. So, net income after deducting allowable losses and deductions. This is as per the Qatari tax law. What does Kuwait say? In Kuwait also, uh, tax imposed on income earned in Kuwait from activities, including all those, commercial, industrial, professional activities, contracting, consultancy, brokerage, leasing, etc., etc. All of those activities. It is a tax imposed on all these types of income. That's called the corporate tax. Additionally, income earned via fixed office. All of this is being referred to as the concept of permanent establishment of a non-resident person. So, meaning basically what they're saying is income earned through a fixed office, agent, or construction site in Kuwait, aligning with the concept of permanent establishment. So, you will see that when we discuss this concept of permanent establishment in detail, you guys will find that sometimes some companies which are located in another country outside UAE, for example, they have their presence in UAE through either a branch office or maybe a fixed place of business. Under the tax rules and regulations, that kind of a fixed place of business is usually referred as permanent establishment. Rafi, what is permanent establishment? Can you give an example?
As you already explained everything, sir, but let me break it easy. A comp any company who has a presence in UAE,
Which company? Locally registered company in UAE.
locally registered, I mean, in a form of a branch, as you said, in a
No, no,
form
no,
of a
no.
branch.
But no, no. Hold on a second. See, please understand. Uh, Company just like us, you are from India, right? You have an Indian
Yeah,
passport, right? You are
yeah,
an
yeah,
Indian citizen, right?
right.
That's your citizenship. That's that's your identification. Just like
Correct.
natural persons, companies also have something of a passport. We don't call it passport, but companies also have that kind of a citizenship, that kind of a nationality. You get my point? It
Mm-hmm.
is companies have that nationality have nationality of the country in which they are incorporated, my dear. Okay, so what my question is that for the concept of permanent establishment, which companies are we talking about? The place of country of incorporation, is that UAE or some other country?
Some other country, right?
Yes, correct. We're not talking about those companies which are incorporated in UAE. We are talking about those companies which are incorporated in a country other than UAE. Okay.
Yeah, the company which is incorporated in UAE will, by default, it's the place of effective, I mean, which is already have a PE, right? If I'm not wrong.
No, no, there's no point of discussion about
PE.
PE for that company because that company
All right.
itself is incorporated in UAE.
UAE, all right.
There will be an exceptional situation that we are going to see in a later topic for where a domestic PE will come in, but that's a rare situation. That's not a regular situation. If a company is incorporated in UAE, then the concept of permanent establishment in UAE for that company will not be relevant.
Okay.
Okay, that's so whenever the word permanent establishment comes, by default, we should understand that we are referring to some company which is not even incorporated in UAE. It is incorporated in another country.
Another country.
Yeah, got it?
Okay. And that defines all the other points which you said, fixed office, agents. Uh,
Exactly. Or a construction site. Because the
yeah.
company is outside of UAE. It's incorporated in another country. But
Mm.
they have a fixed place of business in UAE, like a fixed office. Or some person who's their agent. Now you see,
Handling. Okay.
you remember our earlier discussion of dependent versus independent income.
Yeah.
This agent that is written here, na, it refers to that dependent agent,
Okay.
a person who's acting on behalf of that company.
company.
Okay, clear?
Ah,
Okay, so that was about mm, uh, uh, what taxable income that we were talking about, different matters. Um, so in Kuwait law, even the permanent establishments are subject to, and their taxable income will also be calculated. And there's a 15% flat rate. We're going to see that all. So that what we discussed just now, all of it was the concept of taxable income. Okay. Now we are going to address some other legal, structural or design things of the corporate tax law. It is important that we address this at the outset while we are starting our journey of the corporate tax law, so that later on we don't have to, we won't be confused. How is this law structured, Rafi? We should understand this point. So, in easy terms, let me explain it to you. The topmost law that is here, that we refer to, the mother law, as we call it usually sometimes, right? This is the top law. It is called decree law. Okay. Now, federal decree law, I have used the abbreviation FDL for this. Okay. It is issued by who? The president of the UAE. Okay.
absolutely.
So, we you have to deal with this law so much that you should remember by heart the number of this law. This mother law that we are referring to again and again, the number of this law, federal decree law, is 47. Okay. If you remember, I've been referring to this law again and again and again. This is that mother law. Okay. That we are
Okay.
going through. This is the federal, if you look at the very starting of it, you can see the name of this. Federal Decree Law number 47 of 2022. So as a norm, we do not only tell the number of the law, but we also take the name of the year in which this law was introduced,
Which was published. Right.
which it was published in the official gazette, right? So, Federal Decree Law number. But if anybody asks you through which law the UAE corporate tax is promulgated or implemented, your answer should be, yeah, I know this. It's Federal Decree Law number 47 of the year 2022. So, FDL 47 of 2022 in short. Okay. Then there are
Sure.
a couple of other laws as well. So you don't need to remember the numbers because less, uh, unless you're an advanced user, you will be using less of these. But still, they're very relevant. There's a lot of we have a lot to do with them. So there was one more law issued which changed certain provisions and introduced something called top-up tax in UAE, which comes from the minimum tax regime. Okay, a global minimum tax regime,
15%.
15% regime. Yes, and then there's one more federal decree law which is on tax procedures. So procedural aspect, and this law is a common law. It's not restricted to corporate tax only. This same law, tax procedures law, is applicable for VAT law as well. VAT as well. So VAT, corporate tax, even other customs, etc. So this is tax procedures. So administrative matter, logistical matter, how to file return, if there's any issue, how do we raise concerns with FTA, grievance handling, arbitration, all of these things are addressed. Penalties, administrative penalties, other penalties, all of that is mentioned in this law, tax procedures law. Okay. These are the federal decree laws basically. But the one that you should always remember, never forget, is the Federal Decree Law number 47 of 2022. Okay. That's the top law issued by the President of the UAE. So that's the decree law. In short, if quickly you want to refer, say, decree, one word, if you want to refer for an experienced person who understands the concept, you can use the word decree, and the other guys will immediately understand what you're talking about. You're talking about the mother law, decree law. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Now, immediately after the federal decree law, so think of decree law as the constitution, as a guideline, broad level guideline. But guidelines have to be explained at procedural level details. Am I right in this? Because just based on guidelines, it may be slightly difficult to implement the law, any law for that matter, right? So has to be some procedure level details. So in order to achieve that, once a decree law is implemented, then that decree law usually always mentions that the cabinet will decide about this matter. See this decree law. This is decree law, right? Can you see my screen?
Mhm.
You can see decree law. So I'm going to
Yeah.
write the word cabinet here. Okay. So look, for example, see this free zone. Can you see this? A
Yeah.
designated and defined geographic area within the state that is specified in a decision issued by the
Cabinet.
cabinet. See another definition. Uh, Supplementary tax. The supplementary tax to be imposed on multinational enterprises in accordance with the decree law and the rules and regulations determined by the cabinet. Enterprise, the state, sorry, multinational enterprise. It is an entity and or one or more of its member entities located in the state in a foreign territory as determined by a resolution to be issued by the cabinet. Why is it? Why is the mother law, the decree law, talking so much about the cabinet? That or this matter will be further explained by a decision issued by the cabinet. This matter will be
So more,
yeah.
so more detailed information should be given by the cabinet.
Yes, a bit more procedural level, ground zero level information will be provided by this. So, what is then we should ask what is cabinet exactly? Can you tell me what is cabinet? Do you know what is cabinet? Cabinet
No,
means cabinet of ministers. UAE Federal Cabinet of Ministers. Okay, that
it's
is the
another
meaning.
department.
Sorry,
It's another department of
bhai. In India we call it what? Rajya Sabha or something. National Assembly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
That is the cabinet of ministers.
Okay.
Got
Okay.
it?
All right.
All the second layer of the government. Top layer
Okay.
is the head, like the prime minister or the president. In Pakistan, India, and other countries, we call it prime minister usually. President is there, but it's a figurehead, right? The real show is run by prime minister. The real show in UAE is run by the president, right? The president is the showrunner of the country, right? Immediately after the president, then the second layer of the government is known as the cabinet of ministers.
Cabinets.
Okay,
Okay.
so this is the Rajya Sabha of UAE. Okay, cabinet ministers.
All right.
So they are the ones who will interpret and decide about the federal decree law articles. They'll give more detail. They'll give more explanations and everything. Right? Implement it. But in a very interesting twist, you will see that even some of the articles in the federal decree law will be will say that it will be decided or this article will be interpreted or decided by minister.
Yeah.
So look, what is the decree? Qualifying public benefit entity. All the definition at the end. Resolution issued by the cabinet at the suggestion of the minister.
Minister.
Right? See. uh, Specified in a decision issued by the cabinet at the suggestion of the minister. Say, at the suggestion of the minister. Everywhere, suggestion of the minister at the proposal of the minister, it has been identified and suggested. Uh, at the but we should understand that there are certain decisions which even the cabinet says that yeah, this I wanted to show you. Let's have a look at this particular. For the purposes of clause 5 of this article, the minister may prescribe the conditions. This is a unique situation. Previously, it was all suggestion of the minister, cabinet decision issued by the suggestion. Here, no cabinet decision is being identified. It is directly being said that this previous clause, for this previous clause, whatever conditions are there, they will be identified, they will be prescribed by whom?
Minister.
Minister directly. Who is this minister? Can you tell me? Rafi?
Yeah, now that you said, like, ministers of.
No, no. This is a particular minister. It has, you can see that M is capital, right?
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean?
It has
It
another
will be in
definition.
Article 1.
It will be in Article 1,
Article.
right? So if
Yeah.
you go to the
Yeah.
Article 1, I mean, Vinay also knows this answer. Everybody know. I also know it. But we are just trying to take you to that level where you can understand how we do things in law. So let me take you in Article 1 to that point where this word minister has been defined. Okay. Let's see where this word minister has been defined. Can you, yeah, let me reach the point where this word minister has been defined. This is the entire, ah, it didn't come. Okay, wait, now, where the hell is it? Minister, no. Oh, that's very strange. If I'm looking at minister, wait. Ah, minister. There you go. What does the word minister mean?
Minister of Finance.
Clear? So in the
Okay.
tax law, corporate tax law, the word minister will mean Minister of Finance. So wherever it is written that the minister will define the conditions or minister will issue, that is why you see in this book the two things that are UAE cabinet and ministerial decision. So this ministerial decision, what will it mean then? UAE Federal Minister of Finance. These are those decisions that are not issued by the cabinet, but they are issued by the Minister of Finance. Clear?
Okay.
So the two types of decisions are called UAE cabinet decisions
Cabinet
and
Ministerial.
UAE ministerial decisions. Clear?
Okay.
Two different levels of decisions are there, and you'll be surprised to see that there are a lot of decisions. A lot of decisions have been issued, which are being utilized right now. So, anyways, and okay, so how many decision types we read? One was cabinet decision, second was ministerial decision. Is there a third type of decision? Yes. The answer is yes.
FTA this.
FTA decisions. Okay. So the Federal Tax Authority, its decisions and other guidance. So Federal Tax Authority was established under there's a decree law of 2016. So it has a primary function to act as the premier body for tax laws, implementing and enforcing tax law, VAT, excise, everything. Okay. Finance Minister delegates his decision making powers to FTA from time to time, which is the source of FTA decisions. Understand this? This has been addressed in Article 62 of the Federal Decree Law. Okay, this is Article 62 of the Federal Decree Law called delegation of power. So sometimes FTA takes decisions. So what does that mean? Some decisions UAE cabinet takes, and then UAE cabinet says, look, some matters we don't want to take a decision on because minister is more capable of taking that decision. So we're going to leave it to the lower rank of minister. So they give this authority to minister. So one level below cabinet, right? So those decisions are called ministerial decisions or Ministry of Finance decisions. And then minister also says that look, some decisions we don't want to take because we are directly not implementing it. Who's implementing tax laws? Federal Tax Authority. So let's leave it to the implementer. Let's allow Federal Tax Authority to take certain decisions, smaller scale decisions, smaller level decisions. So they give this power to authority. So those decisions are known as FTA decisions. Okay, but FTA does not only. There's another Article 63. FTA also develops administrative policies, procedures, and general instructions for persons who are subject to corporate tax. This has been addressed in Article 63, administrative policies and procedures. Okay. So FTA issues decisions, but FTA also issues guides. FTA also issues public clarification documents. Okay. So have you gone to the Federal Tax Authority website ever?
Yeah.
You have? Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
this is the Federal Tax Authority website, right? That we are going to. Uh, can I ask you if let me go to the English version of okay. If I want to reach the uh, decisions, where should I go to? Where to
Yeah, you
go?
can so yeah, you can click on the tabs.
Which tab?
The taxes, uh, legalizations or taxes. These are one of the options here.
Legislation.
Legislation. Sorry, I'm
Legislation.
sorry.
So if you click the legislation tab, you're right. In here
Mhm.
you can see, here
Search. Yeah.
the categories are mentioned. You can see that, right? And here, if you want the authority decisions, you'll have to maybe write it as you can see FTA decision. Can you see this? Can you see written as FTA decision?
Yeah.
So FTA decisions, Federal Tax Authority decisions, you will find only on FTA website, because other decisions you can find on
Ministry of Finance.
mof.gov.au Ministry of Finance website. But the problem is FTA decisions you will not find here. Have you ever gone to this website
Yeah, yeah, to find DTA.
to find DTA? Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So in here you can see, if you go to the financial legislation, you will find ministerial resolution. You see this ministerial. So this is the ministry decision, right? Ministerial resolution you will find here. Cabinet resolution you will find here. But will you find the Federal Tax Authority decision here? No. In order to find the FTA decision, you have to go to the Federal Tax Authority website. Okay. Okay. Now one more question. If you want to download the guides here, where should you go? Guides
Taxes,
issued
right?
by FTA.
Taxes.
Taxes. So in taxes, you can see here guideline. You can see corporate tax guideline, right? If you click here, you'll see all the
Public
guidelines, all
clarifications. Yeah.
the public clarifications. You see clarification. This is a public clarification, and so all of that is available here. These two are the most important websites for us. Okay, this is for the entire legislation of the UAE corporate tax, or any tax for that matter, and the remaining smaller part of the legislation, which is the FTA decisions, you will find here, and of course guides and public clarification as well. Going back to our book where we were, so so all these documents we just saw where we will find these. Now, all government authorities must cooperate with the Federal Tax Authority. Okay, this is Article 64, cooperating with the authority. All revenue collected by FTA are shared between the federal government and the local governments. This is addressed in Article 68, sorry, Article 65, called revenue sharing. Okay, so that was it. Then we are going to talk about consequence of the federal decree law number 47. Which law are we talking about? For federal decree law number 47 of 2022. क्या नाम है Rafi? Which law is that, by the way?
Federal Decree Law 47 of 2022, corporate tax.
Corporate tax law, mother law, right? Any
Yeah.
text or provisions in other laws of the UAE which are in conflict with the provision of the decree law shall become null and void. So what does that
Mm.
mean? The corporate tax law supersedes other laws of UAE. If there is any conflict, this law will prevail. Okay.
So can you
UAE
just
corporate.
repeat that again? I am so at that point. Any taxes or provisions in other laws of UAE in conflict with the provisions of this decree law shall become null or void.
Null and void.
Article null
So
and
they
void.
will lose their effect.
Ah, okay.
Okay. That's
Okay.
that's the concept of it. So, anyways, then we'll have to go to the so the very next thing that we are looking at is the UAE corporate tax law was published in the official Gazette of the UAE on 9 December 2022 and came into effect 15 days following the date of publication, which is this has been addressed in Article 70. So when was it issued? This is the date for the first time, 9 December 2022, when the law was issued, and immediately after 15 days it went into the publication. This is the last article actually. However, the general anti-abuse rule, this is a key point for us to remember, under the UAE corporate tax law has been applicable retrospectively since the law's enforcement date. That is for financial year starting on or after 1 June 2023.
2023.
So retrospectively, from the time of publication of this law, it is enforced. So why would that happen? The reason is very simple. Because the moment law became available, people must have started doing some hanky panky, right? Some bad stuff that, oh, let's restructure ourselves, let's split our company so that we go under the radar of tax law. You see my point? That is why
Hmm.
the law said that from the time this law was published, it will be enforced. Okay. Now, this we have gone through defined terms of the Federal Decree number 47 of 2022. So all these are basically, this is the same article. All of these in the book, you will get this book pretty soon. On Monday, probably I will get the copy of the printed copy and I will deliver to you, inshallah. In this table that I have prepared, you can see this that where this terminology has been used. All articles have been referred, so you don't have to get lost into the detailed law. You can quickly see it. Each of and even the meanings of these things have been identified. Let's go through these. Okay, quickly run through it so that we never get confused about the use of a particular terminology. Wherever this word state is used, na, in this law, what will this mean? State will always mean UAE. Clear?
Okay.
Federal government. What is federal government? So how many levels of government are here in the UAE? Can you tell me? What will be the other alternative of federal government? One level is federal government. What is the other level?
Which below says local government.
Local government. So federal government works at federation level. The federal government of the UAE at federation level, at national level. But then there is another lower level as well called the local government. Okay. And that is the government of any federal, any individual emirate.
Between Emirates, right?
Yeah, emirate. Ministry means Ministry of Finance and minister means Minister of Finance. Okay. Authority, what does it mean? Federal tax authority. Corporate tax, we saw that. This is the tax imposed on juridical persons business. We discussed it. Business, we discussed. What is the word qualifying income? Where has been, have you heard this qualifying income before?
Yes, yes.
You have. So actually,
Yeah.
this is a detailed concept addressed in this law. When we reach Article 3, which is the tax rates related article, we're going to read this word there. And in Article 18, also we're going to read this word. Article 18 talks about qualifying free zone persons. Okay. Income
This
of
is
a
particularly
qualifying.
for free zone only.
Sorry?
This is particularly for free zone only, qualifying income.
Correct. Yes. Qualifying income means income of a qualifying free zone person. So it has to, free zone is definitely involved. Without free zone, there's no explanation of qualifying income. Qualifying free zone person's income. Okay, clear?
Mhm.
Government entity. What is the meaning of that? So do you know what is the mistake people will do while thinking of a government entity? They will forget that local government is also involved. So it's not only federal government. So both levels of government. An entity that is owned by either federal government or local government. It can be ministries, it can be agencies, it can be public institutions. All of those are called what? Government entities. Clear?
Okay.
And this, you will see that this is addressed in article number 5 in particular, because article 6 is for government controlled entities. So what are government controlled entities? These are juridical person, meaning kind of body corporates, companies, LLCs, corporations, okay, which are wholly owned and controlled by the government entity, okay, 100% owned or controlled by government entity. They are called government controlled entity. Can you think of an example of a government controlled entity of UAE?
Government controlled owned by UAE.
Totally, like, yeah, some famous companies of UAE are government controlled entities. If you're not able to answer, I'll ask the other two.
One of the bank is government controlled, right? I think it's
What's the name of the bank?
Fab.
Fab. Yeah, correct. Any other person? Can you guys give us
Yeah.
government controlled
Emirates
entity?
NBD.
Emirates
Emirates
NBD.
NBD. It
Perfect.
is owned by Emirates Investment Authority.
Etisalat,
Yes.
Etisalat.
Emirates Airlines.
Yes.
All of these
Biggest.
are, yeah. Sorry, say again.
It's biggest example, sir.
Biggest
Emirates
example.
Airlines.
Emirates Airlines, ADNOC. All of these are government controlled entities. Okay. Person we read, right? So two types, natural or juridical. And it has been addressed in many articles. Okay. Business activity. Now these are, we read business earlier on, and then there's business activity. What is the difference? Can somebody tell me what is the difference between this word business, regular, ongoing, independent activity, etc., 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 and then there's business activity also. Any transaction or activity in the course of business.
Business only.
So which one is superset and which one is subset? Can we say that business constitutes an aggregation of business activities? And
Yes, sir.
yeah, we can say that. Why? You see that the definition itself, any transaction or activity in the course of business. So, bhai, if there are business activities, it will give rise to business, right? Okay. Uh, Mandated activity. So you remember Article 6? What was Article 6? Previously, we saw the concept government controlled activities, right? So those big companies which are owned by government, controlled by government, they, when they are created, there usually there is a decree issued by the government, and in that decree, it is clearly mentioned and stated as to what this company will do, the primary objective, primary activities that the company will undertake. Those primary activities are called mandated activities. You'll see this reflected in Article 6, government control. Activity that a government controlled entity must perform by law. Is this point clear to you guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now, state's territory. See, territory. What is the dictionary meaning of the word territory?
Region, right?
Territory is, yeah, region, okay, fine, area, region, etc. But territory, the one more word should come to it, controlled by controlled by a country, controlled by a
State
person.
controlled. Okay.
So state's territory, it is that area which is controlled by the state. And when we say state, we mean UAE. So it is that
Local
land
governing
or
authority.
sea or airspace that is controlled by UAE. That is called state's territory. Okay. Now, natural resources. So we will see that there are two articles, Article 7 and 8. Article 7 talks about extractive business. Article 8 talks about non-extractive natural resource business. So in both articles, the word natural resources has been mentioned. So if this is a simplified way of writing things. If you if you want to look at the actual definitions, they may be slightly longer. This is simplified one. So quick understanding. So natural resources would comprise water, oil, gas, coal, mineral, etc. All of these are non-renewable resources. Okay. And extractive business, what does that mean? Exploring, extracting, producing natural resources. This is extractive business. Okay. Non-extractive natural resource business means separating, refining, processing transporting, marketing natural resources. So even marketing and transporting is involved in the definition of non-extractive natural resource business, Article 8. We're going to see all of these articles from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and until 10. All of these articles talk about exempt persons. We'll see that soon enough. Okay. So we saw this thing, yeah, separating, refining, processing, transporting. Now, one more concept, qualifying public benefit entity, which is addressed in Article 9. I- in one word, NGOs basically. So welfare entities, right? Entity meeting Article 9 conditions listed by cabinet decision. This is Article 9. Okay. And then we have Article 10 as well, qualifying investment fund. So fund pooling investor money for investment returns, meeting Article 10 conditions. So we've already, okay, how much is remaining? There's I think quite a lot of this Article 1 itself is remaining. So I'm going to stop for a second and we're going to return. There's a take a small break, okay, and we're going to resume the call. Is this all right with you guys?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
we've been on the call
So
for
the
more
total duration of today meeting will be how much?
until 1 o'clock. So we will resume in
Uh,
another 10 minutes time, and until 1 o'clock we will continue. So the idea is that this is a marathon Saturday course. Marathon Saturday, because see, initial chapters are easier and smaller, but the later chapters it will be a lot more complex. You will see that, right? So this, how do you find this chapter today, Rafi? Is this easy to understand until now?
Yeah. For me it is more of detailed explanations of the theoretical aspects of the corporate tax.
Huh.
Uh, Sounds good. Which I which I do not have an idea about certain things, so it's good to know.
Good to know, right? Okay. So you'll see, I mean, it will be by the time we finish it, hopefully, inshallah, you will have a lot, far better grip on corporate tax concepts and understanding, inshallah. You'll have a much better grip on that. So that's the whole point of it. So we're not rushing things during this a long marathon of Saturday. We have ample duration of 4 hours available in which we can discuss philosophically anything that is there. We can talk about it in detail. uh, and it's 18 chapters. So 18 chapters means initial chapters we're going to continue with this, because even if it means going through more than one chapter, right, it doesn't matter. But there will be other chapters in which a lot of complicated discussions will erupt. It will be a lot, you will feel a little, sometimes you will feel pressure also because of the concept or the complication of it. So we are giving ourselves that margin. Okay, that's why we will continue for the full duration. Okay guys, we will revert back inshallah after some 10 minutes. Okay, right now it's almost 11:20, so we'll resume at 11:30. Okay guys.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.